Day 149. 1 Kings chapter 1 and 2. Psalms chapter 37, 71, and 94. The passages we read speak about betrayal, delayed justice, family conflict, old age, ambition, fear, leadership, and trusting God when wicked people seem to win. Let's explore the scripture whispers from these books. We do know that sometimes people take advantage of silence. King David was old and weak. During that vulnerable moment, his son Adonijah decided to declare himself king without permission. He gathered supporters, organized ceremonies, and acted confidently as though the throne already belonged to him. What is shocking is this: he moved while David was silent. Then Adonijah the son of Haggith exalted himself, saying, "I will be king." Sometimes in workplaces, families, businesses, or even friendships, people mistake silence for weakness. Some individuals rush to take positions that were never given to them. Others manipulate situations because they think nobody will challenge them. But we learn that not every opportunity is truly yours, simply because nobody stopped you immediately. Adonijah looked successful for a moment, but he was never God's choice. Be warned, do not envy people who rise quickly through manipulation. Fret not thyself because of evildoers. Some people rise fast, but not correctly. And when God finally speaks, false crowns fall. So never build your success on assumption, manipulation, or impatience. Have you ever encountered wise people who speak up before disaster happens? Nathan the prophet was one of such people. When he saw confusion growing in the kingdom, he did not stay quiet. He spoke to Bathsheba, created a plan, and approached David wisely. Nathan teaches us that wise people do not only pray about problems, they address them with wisdom and timing. Many lives today are damaged because people saw danger early, but refused to speak. Parents sometimes notice troubling behavior in children and ignore it. Friends see destructive habits but remain silent. Leaders notice corruption but avoid confrontation. Nathan reminds us that courage is not always loud. Sometimes courage is having difficult conversations before things collapse. And Psalm chapter 94 speaks strongly about God defending justice. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? In simple words, God does not support systems built on wrongdoing. So when we speak truth with wisdom, we cooperate with God's justice. Here is another whisper to ponder on. A good start does not guarantee a good end. We read of Adonijah, who had influence, supporters, and public attention. But he lacked humility. Even after Solomon became king peacefully, Adonijah secretly tried to manipulate the system again by requesting Abishag. Solomon immediately recognized the deeper political motive behind the request. And eventually, Adonijah lost everything. A good beginning means nothing without good character. Many people today start businesses, marriages, ministries, careers, or friendships well, but pride destroys them later. The meek shall inherit the earth. Not the loudest. Not the most aggressive. Not the most manipulative. The meek. Humility keeps doors open longer than ambition ever can. Never become so desperate for position that you destroy your future trying to force it. One touching theme in these chapters is aging. King David became physically weak. Psalm chapter 71 also sounds like the prayer of an older person asking God not to abandon him. Cast me not off in the time of old age. This is deeply relatable today. Many elderly people feel ignored once they retire or become less energetic. Society often celebrates youth while treating old age like irrelevance, but Psalm chapter 71 gives a different picture. Now also when I am old and grey-headed, O God, forsake me not, until I have showed thy strength unto this generation. In other words, I may be older but I still have wisdom to pass down. This is powerful. Some of the greatest gifts in life are not money or strength. They are experience, perspective, and wisdom. Older people still carry stories that can save younger generations from pain. And younger people must learn to listen before experience becomes regret. Peace, as we know it today, does not mean the absence of consequence. When Solomon became king, many people probably expected instant peace. But unfinished issues resurfaced. David instructed Solomon about Joab, Shimei, and unresolved matters from the past. Ignoring problems does not erase them. Many people today avoid difficult conversations, unresolved family wounds, debt problems, toxic behavior, or bad habits, hoping time will magically solve everything. But buried issues often return later with greater consequences. He shall bring upon them their own iniquity. Actions eventually produce results. Whether good or bad, life has consequences, and maturity means dealing with issues honestly instead of pretending they do not exist. Always remember that God can keep you stable in unstable times. The beginning of the passages read today is filled with uncertainty. There was political tension, divided loyalty, hidden agendas, and fear about the future. Yet Solomon's kingdom was eventually established. Psalm chapter 37 repeatedly emphasizes trusting God during unstable seasons. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. This is relevant today more than ever. People are anxious about finances, leadership, relationships, global crises, and the future. Social media constantly spreads fear and comparison. But these chapters remind us that stability does not come from perfect circumstances. It comes from trusting God while circumstances remain imperfect. Even when everything around you feels uncertain, God can still establish your path. You do not need to panic simply because others are panicking. Be rest assured that God never forgets the oppressed. This is one of the strongest psalms about injustice. The writer describes arrogant and wicked people hurting others while acting as if God cannot see. Does that sound familiar? It sounds exactly like today's world. Corruption, oppression, dishonest leadership, people abusing power, the innocent suffering while the wicked seem comfortable. But listen to this powerful verse. The Lord will not cast off his people. Psalm chapter 94 verse 14. And another. When I said, my foot slippeth, thy mercy, O Lord, held me up. What a comforting picture. There are moments in life when you feel emotionally tired, financially weak, betrayed, or forgotten. But God sees more than people see. The world may overlook pain, but heaven does not. And sometimes the greatest miracle is not immediate escape. It is God sustaining you while you walk through difficult seasons. In summary, silence can invite wrong people to act. Wisdom requires speaking up at the right time. Character matters more than ambition. Old age still carries purpose. Ignored problems eventually return. God gives stability in unstable times. And finally, God never abandons the oppressed. So stay encouraged, stay wise, and remember, sometimes the deepest whispers come from the most unexpected passages in the scripture.